here's an update for the Are You Too Old to Become a Nurse video that I've been doing, the series. It's a mini sub-series. Did it at 50, I think I did one at 51, although I don't think I labeled it as that. And I did one at 52, and now I'm here doing it at 54. No, I don't think you're too old to become a nurse. You can become too old to have a career as a nurse, okay? And I think I even said that in my first videos. Because, I mean, what kind of career do you expect to get if you come in at 55? Or where are you going to retire? You know, I mean, this in the U.S., you're looking at 65, right? Or whatever, 67 now, right? This is a young man's sport. It's very difficult to be turning patients or whatever. Again, bedside nurse, you could be a office nurse. You can be a school nurse. You can be other subsets. There are a lot of professions. That's the one good thing about nursing. There's so many subsets out there. You know, like police officer, you do have desk jobs, but most of them are on the road. So it's a bit tiring. You know, you're not going to be a 90-year-old cop driving around the beat, right? You might do paperwork at 90, you know, but there's few and far between. Same concept with the nurse. A lot, I think, 70% of us, 80% of us are bedside nurses. That's where we are, most of us. Acute care, whether they're, or long-term care, you're bedside. And that is very tiring. It's very stressful. Probably long-term care is probably the most, you got the most patients. You know, I can't attest to the physicality of it. I gotta think it's comparable. The different facilities do it differently. But I tell you, acute care bedside is a young man's sport. But, you know, is it fulfilling? Yes, definitely. You know, I hate to say it, I'd probably freak people out, but I would do this without pay. You know, I wouldn't do as many shifts without pay. You know, but if you say, hey, you want to do this a couple times a month, it's like volunteering or something like that. I could do that. My daughter looks at me like, what the f are you talking about? She's having her own career crisis as well. Now as a 54-year-old nurse update, the one big change is I'm now a father of another nurse. So she became an ICU nurse in between these video time periods. So is it rewarding? Definitely rewarding. She does it for her career and she's kind of on the fence on it now. And I try to reassure her that that's not unusual. Be prepared for that. I think older adults, we can handle that better because a lot of us have changed careers. We have seen so much of life. Whereas the kids, their children, this is maybe their first real job, maybe their second or third real job, and real job though. This is your career. It's not like you were waiting tables and you were doing landscaping and you were an intern, but no, this is your career. You're going to be an architect, you're going to be an engineer, you're going to be a law enforcement, you're going to be a soldier, you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be a nurse, you're going to be whatever. This is your career. So that's a bit daunting for the young generation. For us, yeah, I've had another career. So this is my second career. And I have so much life dealing with it. And in that previous career, I had to learn many different roles. I mean, I did everything in the company, everything from sweeping floors to, you know, corporate finance. So, you know, everything in between. Shipping, receiving, production, HR, IT, everything. So I had to learn every aspect because then I had to train my replacement for each one of them. So whenever nobody could hold me hostage, they're like, I'm going to quit. Okay. You're not worried? No, I trained you. I could train the next guy. I'm not worried. You know, that's the beauty of being a private owner, you know, and it's a double-edged sword though, right? But nursing is definitely a career. It's definitely difficult in the bedside. Again, all these videos that I put out are bedside, you know, point of views. It's definitely rewarding. It's definitely something you can do as an older nurse. If anything, I think it gives you an advantage. You have an advantage as an older adult, not a disadvantage in the whole scheme of things. There's a disadvantage in the sense that a lot of your classmates are going to read something once, twice, they got it. I had to read things 7, 8, 9 times to get it in. I had to listen to the lectures over and over on repeat when I'm driving. Just like I didn't listen to music for like almost 4 years. Literally, I just skipped that. There's a gap in my music history of that period because I only listened to lectures, whatever. So, whereas the younger generation, they could go party, they had drinks and whatever. They went away on vacation and then they had the finals on Monday. I'm cramming all through that way, studying hard, doing the whatever techniques of studying because I had to get into this old brain. So do the young folks have an advantage over us? Yes, their stamina, their retention, their ease of handling the technology, their comfort zone of dealing in a classroom setting. I walked into that brick and mortar A&P class. I met one of my friends I still work with. He actually he made the whole way through, a couple cohorts behind me, but he's a nurse as well. He works on the same unit as I do. I met him the first day, chit-chatted with him. He was an unusual, just as a little side, he never been in a brick and mortar classroom at all in his life. He was homeschooled, but he was 18 years old. I was like, dude, all right, this is like a classroom. And he's like, yeah, I've seen classrooms in a church. And I was like, wow, right? So that was kind of why we connected and clicked. But everybody else, they either just graduated high school or, they were college kids and changed majors, or this was part of their major for something else. But, for me, it was 25, 30 years since I've been in a brick and mortar classroom. So that was getting used to. So the younger folks do have an advantage over us on that. But I think by and large, in the overall gross, being older helps you because you have that, hopefully, you have that discipline. You have you've tapped that reserve many times. But it exists there. There's a reserve that you can call on and dig down into. The younger folks definitely have that reserve too, but sometimes they haven't tapped it yet. They haven't been parents. They haven't gone to that edge where we have. You say we have to push beyond this because my child needs to eat. They need to be, washed. They need to be prepped for school. It's very much an advantage at that point because you can easily tap that reserve. It's not easy, don't get me wrong, but it is something you can go to and say, hey, I need this extra time and I can push through this. And I know I need to commitment. I need to say no to my family and friends that I'm not going to go out and I'm going to stay here and study. The younger crowd doesn't have that. So in nursing school, when people dropped out, by and large, by an overwhelming majority, they were all young. They were all the younger group. I don't think we had like one of the largest classes. I think I said this in previous videos, like 117 or something like that incoming. That was like the largest by like 30 or 20 or something like that. This is before COVID. And I don't think even 50% of that ended up graduating with us. But I would say the overwhelming majority of the older cohort part of that class did graduate. 50-year-olds to 40-year-olds, number to 30-year-olds. A couple of them did drop out, but they were more because of like personal family issues that any one of the younger ones would have got. And they came back, by the way. And I'll emphasize that. Every one of the older ones that dropped out came back. And they're all nurses now. So you had 100% pass rate from them, in that sense. 100%. So, whereas the younger group, the ones that got into nursing school, because it's not easy to get into nursing school. You got to have great grades. You got to have whatever, that commitment to get to that level. Most of them, I don't see any of them. I've not heard any of them. There's some that came back. But most of them just said, okay, we're going to do something else. I'll be this. I'll be an architect. I'll be an engineer. I'll be whatever. Maybe I'll be a doctor. I don't know where they went, but they didn't continue come back and finish like the older adults all did. All the ones that I used to say, oh, you're older, you're older, you're older. You can pick it out in the crowd. I was not counted among them because nobody knew my age. They thought I was, well, in that cohort, in that class, the average age was like 18.9 years, something like that. It was like 18, right? I wasn't that I was being mistaken for an 18-year-old, but I was mistaken definitely for a mid-20-year-old. There was a number of 30-year-olds that thought they were way older than me, and until they found out my age, and then they were like, oh my God. So I was able to listen in. I had that unique perspective to be able to be older and listen into their conversations. And they would sometimes just talk right over me. Not that they included me too much, because I kept to myself. But that's why I know so much. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, no, what happened to, Jane? What happened to Joe? What happened to John? What happened to George? What happened to Georgina? They're all gone. Boom, 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 boom. Good, right? George is still here. That's one of my friends. So being older, I think, definitely can help you. Even recently, many people think that I've been in nursing like 10, 15, 20 years. I'm like, what the heck makes you think that? I'm a baby nurse still. I mean, she has twice the experience of me. They thought I was equal or more years of service than that nurse. I was like, no, she literally has twice as much or more the experience than me. She has 4 times the experience of me. So, it's all these different things that I think help my projection of myself as a nurse. The confidence, I guess, is the differential, because a lot of the nurses aren't confident. Because a lot of nursing is interaction with people. You're interacting. I just said this to a doctor. I was talking to a young nurse, where a friend, she's a daughter of a friend of mine, and I was like, this is nursing. After the shift, we're just heading on the elevator. There's an older doctor. And I said, I was explaining to her, I was like, we provide the emotional aspect of it. We are the subjective care. We're there talking to people, holding their hands and spending that time. We have the ability to. Doctor's listening to all this. And, I can tell he's listening in, but he's just like this because he's not on his phone. He's not doing anything. Obviously, he's listening in. He's like, doing that gestures. I've read people very well. And I said, we leave the objective stuff to him. And I pointed to, I was like that. He's supposed to do that. They're supposed to be the ones to do that and really heal them and whatever. We're helping them through. And he looked up. He's like, oh, he realized I knew what he was talking. And he said, take care. And the nurse was like, who is he? I was like, I don't know, some doctor. I don't know doctors. He's a day shifter. I don't know. And she's like, oh, I thought you knew him. You guys interacted like you guys did. And I said, no. But that's the comfort level of me talking to people. Because I'm an older adult. I've dealt with CEOs. I've dealt with the high ups. I've dealt with every strata of society. I'm used to it. And that's what you have to do, because that's what you have. You have every strata of society. You're not just going to take care of the billionaires. You're also going to take care of the homeless. You're not going to just take care of the females. You're going to take care of males. You're not going to just take care of the senior citizens. You're going to take care of the children and everyone in between, right? You're comfortable. I find that helps being older. So, are you too old to be a nurse? Let me close it out this way. No, I think it's a great advantage. I think it's a significant advantage, actually. I wouldn't say it's an overwhelming advantage. That's not what I'm saying here. Because guess what? It is still a young man's sport. But does it give us an edge? Yeah. And I would not have wanted to go to nursing school now, looking back, in my 20s. I don't think I would have made it through. That's one. I would have been one of the ones that washed out. So it's not disparaging any of the young generation that washed out, because they might come back in 10 years or 20 years and come back and make me eat my words. But in my 30s, I think I could have made it. In my 40s, I should have gone through earlier. I did in my mid to late 40s. Basically, my late 40s, I went, right? But I waited so many years. I wasted. That's the thing. Don't rush yourself. This is not to say, hey, I got to take AP 1, 2 at the same time, blah, blah, blah. I got to take micro after this, and physics, chemistry. No. You don't have to do everything in 1 year. Don't try it. It's not going to work out well. But don't poo-poo the fact that you're an older adult. I think it gives you an advantage because there are things you're going to see in school. Forget about, I mean, I talked a lot about once you get your RN license, but really the gist of this is really more for the nursing school people, people applying, thinking about it. I'm sorry, that's my cat in the background. I don't know what they're doing. We had a new cat. It's an old cat that got rehomed with us that I had to rehome initially. I was able to get it back. My daughter was like, is this Saki? From 12 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I was able to get them back because he had to be rehomed. Very teary-eyed, she was like, oh my God. So, that was a good thing. So now we have 3 cats. I don't know who's making that noise. I'm sorry. Off the rails again. But this is really for the new want to be a nurse. Don't look at your age as a disadvantage, is what I'm saying. If any changes or any change in my point of view has come up more strong since the first videos, is that if anything, being older is a better advantage. I would prefer, I would have preferred to go at least, I don't know if I could have made it when in my early 30s. I'm not sure. But definitely beyond that, being an older person helps. It definitely helps. It is more an advantage than a disadvantage. Let's say it that way. All right. Good luck.